Hello, this is FG back with you for Anbennar, picking up with our Rosande campaign after our very brutal last time against Esthil and Count's League and also Rogieria. But luckily it is over, so we no longer have to be spending tons of manpower doing it. Knight Commander Davenor had ridden out today with a company of his knights to rout a local Orcish warband. I was unsurprised to see him return in good order. With a well-bloodied bane blade and a smoke-scorched gauntlet. I was, however, surprised to see his knight escorting several dozen of those monstrous warriors with him. One of his captains urging the most defiant forward with a spear. They shepherded them towards the barn and locked them in the kennels while me and the other pages came forth to tend to the horses. We were discussing why they'd been taken back alive while we were taking in the horses. Luis was claiming we were going to kill them ourselves, get a taste for orc blood, but the older boys were boasting about how many they'd take. Sir Ceres told us that they'd been taught to work, that knights were meant for more than fights, and that we were meant to protect the innocent and restore the lands. By clapping those brutes in irons, we were keeping the innocent safe and setting their labor to a worthier cause. Most of the others lost interest when it was clear the lesson wasn't about bloodletting, but I really do think this is cleverer than that. Alright, and we should get Orcish workforce in Glitterdell. Alright. I'm gonna keep the nobility happy for now. Aristocrats grateful. Price of progress. Regrettable, but all progress has its price. Alright. Doing well getting some areas converted over. But unfortunately, I actually do not have many orc provinces, so we're gonna actually find more orcs to enslave. We're not good people. You haven't picked that up yet. We can wait for my war exhaustion to go down. Adventurer bans for adventurers. And then here, nobility of the disgraced. I don't think we can do that. Flying Hound. Yeah, we can do that. That's just some profit, obviously. Okay. Doing great. And then here, take that. Get a couple buildings. Let's get that. And then we need stability. Oh, we need to wait for that to get done before we take that. Alright. A few more cores. Do want get some actual bigger allies. Galwed could make an interesting one. And we're both pretty hyper intolerant. Oh, they're not that intolerant. This one. Do we need to build buildings anywhere? We need forts. Okay, this needs a fort. Hard SGC protection. No. And here we want to take this. Alright. S Hill. Where's S Hill? Okay, and then we get that. We can also start. Yes. Do that. We can take the nobility of the disgraced. Their names were infamous. Francis Falseheart offered a courtly exchange of wines with their Sornacosti foe the day before battle, only to seal the doors and burn the vineyard down with them inside. Gilman, the greedy, fought long and hard throughout the war, then killed his wife's family so they could not reclaim their lands in Rubinair as it surrendered. Pedane purse strings kept the Duke's forces fed throughout the Duranic campaign. Can he be blamed for the frosts that autumn and the commoners that starved in their wake? They thought us despicable bastards and worse. But we won the battles while our lords plotted surrender. Whatever stories they tell of us, whatever revenge we took on those that had slighted us, the losers in such a conflict would have been punished with death. The prize for our victories? Exile. If they wish to say we were devils or tyrants or Casriel's own spawn, then they may. But we are the ones who won, and we do not mean to stop now. We will forge a nobility that seeks victory, free of self-imposed shackles, superior to anything those smug Glencory fools could ever muster. As the sun rises, a noble dines upon the finest olives, figs, cheese, and sausages, washing it down all down with centuries-old wine recently recovered from the ruins of Castanet. Yet even before the songbirds have had their chance to chirp, the cracks of the distant whips and the rattling of chains drowns out what little remains of the morning calm. Dozens of orcs toil in the vineyards, their lumbering bodies ill-fit for the exhausting work. Their green bodies are covered in hundreds of deep, lime-colored scars accumulated not from years of servitude but mere months, all while their bodies wither away from gnawing hunger until the shackles which bound them come loose. Yet there is no time for the orcs to lament their condition, as any perceived idleness invites the wrath of the slave driver's whips. Even this is merciful in comparison to the barbed whip, which tears off chunks of flesh with terrifying ease, used to punish the insubordinate. The noble realizes the wine taste is fouled and pours out the rest of the wine onto the rouge-colored patch on the walnut hardwood floor. It is beneath him to drink leftovers. After all, that is the privilege of slaves. I shall dine on beans, peach jam, white bread, and roast beef tomorrow. Noble slave owners. Alright. Royal Grape Corvée. Unlike our former home with its bustling towns and fertile farmlands, the lands of Ascan are wild and untamed, still recovering from the cataclysm of the green tide. The amount of work required to return them to a semblance of their former splendor would be a daunting task even for the prosperous realms in western Canor, and even more so for a small group of pioneers, no matter how courageous and tenacious they might be. But let it not be said that we falter in the face of adversity, for we have developed an ingenious solution to this issue. The Great Corvée is a complex set of obligations and rules under which our local nobles provide the labor of their orcish slaves for a limited period of time, so they may work on projects deemed of importance for the realm as a whole. While our esteemed nobles of courage agree with the notion that orcs belong to a race suited only to manual labor and are destined to serve their betters, some of them might chafe at the notion that their orcs are not at their complete disposal at all time. Returning a fallow land to its former fruitful state is an arduous task. It requires the harsh labor of the many and the strict oversight of the gifted few. We Rosada are, of course, more than capable of providing the latter, and our orcish slaves will suffice for the former. Most of our slave laborers are, however, bound to the country estates of their masters, where they do their part in restoring Ascan as penance for the sins of their ancestors. Whatever the realm has needed for a large amount of laborers, they must be temporarily requisitioned via the system of royal corvée until the work is done and they can return to the demesnes of their masters. While all our noble landowners support this system in principle, most tend to be somewhat cross when it comes to their workers and not those of their neighbors that are requisitioned. Let's do the Grape Corvée. Oh, this only lasts for 2 years, though. Okay, we won't take it for now. No, we do not care. South Castor region. Okay, so we will need 1 province from Newshire, 4 provinces from Corvuria, a couple provinces from... what else? All of Corentar, most of Marold. Okay. Now we want cannons. And then what's combat with right now? 25. Alright. Oh, excellent. Okay, we should have finally built our kingdom up to this point. An empty vineyard. That's rough. Okay, we're gonna have to head north rapidly. We can actually just go ahead and grab provinces off of Lyingtown though very quickly. And order slavery pays off, good. Satisfy network here, and take that off. Satisfy network there. Yep, take that. Price of progress, shit. No. Take that. Grab their cash. Get rid of that core. Who's Marled allied to? If I was to declare war. And then for this, I need adventure loyalty to be high. Which is doable. Oh, we need more orcs. Quarantar. Okay, who can I get an alliance with? Lucian. And you know what? I will actually ally Corvaria. I'm gonna need to fight them for a little while. Yeah, we don't have to until this. Okay. Party favors right there. We can get them in when we go fight Marled. That would be great. So this can go down. And I can actually turn my army down. Okay, that's good. Do that, and then we can seize a little bit of land. Declare war on Dead Fang. Where is Dead Fang? Right there. Alright, I can get them when I fight against Dog Eater. Okay. cause to declare war here. I would not join because I have bad diplomatic reputation. What if I turned on religious diplomats? Okay, and I can get... what, and get to 17. Yeah. Okay. Infernal Gluttony. Circle of couches laid at table. Atop these, suits of red adorned by gold tassels that only highlighted the quality of the fabric. Truly there is no greater indulgence, remarked a fat and contented noble. You could never do something like this back in the West. The priest would babble some nonsense about restraint or some such. Another noble looked up from his empty glass, a conniving gleam in his eye. There are some who indulge even more than we, whose favored live lives of unfettering indulgences rather than moralistic prattling. You're talking about archdevils, which whispered the fat nobles. I am. Iberol has granted me an endless appetite and bounty, and I have never been happier. He is a generous master. I am sure he would accept you all. The second noble glanced invitingly at his fellows, before a third noble, covered in scars from years of war, stood up. You would prove all of those who call us faithless oath breakers, right? We came to civilize this land and prove we are better than those soft-hearted lackeys of the Ruby Crown. And now you wish to throw that all away? The glutton scoffed. So you would have us deny our true potential because of those soft-hearted lackeys, adhere to some silly superstitions? Next you'll be prattling about how I should suffer in hell, instead of eternally feasting at my master's table. The other nobles looked between the knight and the glutton, slowly making up their minds, while the servants began to whisper in the corner. Well, I keep the super... I obey any limits. Kazrael. Alright. And Corntar. Most of our knights and almost all of our captains first whetted their blades during the Lilac Wars. And between the members of our order, we've seen every theater of that conflict. We've crossed lances with Duran's Seaflower Knights, hunted rebels through the vineyards of the Wine Lords, besieged ruined towers throughout the Dameseer. These experiences will put us well in the store, crossing lances with wayward knights, hunting goblins through tangled hedgerows, and putting orcish war camps to the torch. The Rose Knights sneered at us when they were exiled. Let them watch as we apply these teachings better than they ever did and carve out a kingdom of our own. Alright. So, we now have claims all over here. And I will first... Who are they allied with? Algeria. I can wait a little bit. I'm gonna wait a just small amount of time. And I'll give provinces to, I'll give like a province to Algeria. The loyalty is 40 or greater. And I can come off for now. Dyer Mill? Where's Dyer Mill? Ooh, that's great. Declare on them for Bernal, Colin Corvario. Support for rebels, price of progress, Royal Corby, we're not building anything. I'm going to take the cavalry and move them right that way. Alright. And then for Nurchester, we obviously want cash, war reps. Excellent. Okay, Nurchester. I didn't want to fight that battle. I want these provinces. And then money. That'll be burn all that. Okay. Yep. Is there more orcs here? There is. Alright. This. And then I can finally take actual decent knights again. And we'll go with Kira Pakar. Conversions is done. A new sovereign reigns. Kazriel arise. Quiet Vineyard. Alright. Yeah. Declare on Marl? No. No, don't do that. Keep the nobles happy. Come in for money. not to stop me is the answer. And we will go with Pixie Furry. Actually like to improve that. Yeah, take that. Sieges don't go as well as they should. Flare will for Pixie Berry. These guys can go right there, and then they go this way. New Shire, I'd really love some help. Alright. That, and then more reps. Again. Defensive Edict right there. Infernal Toll Casriel. Yeah, I'll spray to him. Alright, that's good. He might be one of because I got a bad trait. That is because the internal port functions very similarly to the regional port in that getting a negative trait that's associated with each particular archdemon will give you a like a special sort of event for your ruler's life. The whole thing with the Infernal Port is it's basically supposed to be power for a price. So don't care about that province. That. We'll take that so we can improve with outraged countries. Excellent. Loyalty is up again. So now I want to go and spy network there, leave them to their business. We'll spy network there. I'm not building anything. Yeah, monthly military power is pretty amazing. Okay, so what have we lost to? 3 cavalry, cannon at least. Cannon, and then a whole bunch of infantry. Maintain the balance of power. Go deal with that for me. I really appreciate it. Empty vineyard. Alright, that's fine. That's fine. Dunaset and Craggill. Fuck me. Okay, at least my good buddies are dealing with it. I could... I don't need that. I just need raw money right now. No, okay. I think there's a specific Griffin Rider trade. Can't remember. It's been a little while since I played as, what are they called? Goblins Flee Our Lands. Alright. That is an event that basically sends them up to, Bayvik. Because they're, like, playing us butchering them. Okay. That is excellent. Let's do those. Okay, nurse steer. These guys will go for the moment, while these guys deal with any sort of revolt. I believe this episode is going to be a little bit shorter than usual. Alright, I want to thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and have a good day.